Ladies and gentlemen, it's the Roy and Matt Show by Ninth Row Productions. Find more at ninethrowmedia.com and royandmattshow.com.
All right, well, welcome to the Roy and Matt Show, and to our plethora of Norwegian fans, we say, Velkommen Norge, vi fort, ver svarte hoppidresser.
What did we say today?
Well, today, I don't. It's probably uncouth to drop inside jokes on a podcast.
No, it's perfect.
I say that, but if you only have a handful of listeners, what's the harm?
It's all an inside joke.
Yeah,
right.
We said, "Welcome Norway." We're wearing our black jumpsuits.
So,
and
I think if you're not from Norway, you should probably just Google and do a little research.
I say this. I say our number one Norwegian fan, Josh Bragg, will probably be here in the maybe next summer or the summer following, depending. And we'll have him on as a guest, and he can explain the black jumpsuits.
So in 6 months or a year, in 6 months, we'll readdress this topic.
Well, it's a test for all of our listeners to see if they can remind us.
All right. Well, once again, my name's Roy.
I'm Matt.
All right. And so
wait.
And once again, we also
I
have
forgot producer Logan.
Producer Logan over here.
And we're missing our intern.
Intern Jake is out for the week.
I feel so much more pressure right now.
You should.
As you should. I don't. Well, I've never spoken to Jake in a conversation that has been recorded on this podcast. But I'd like to think he's not here, and I don't blame Jake. I blame Lucas.
I do too. I was going to say I hope Lucas hasn't had a problem.
From what I understand, it is not Lucas.
No.
Well,
Jake has other activities that he's
responsibilities.
Doing. So, well, you can say responsibilities, but I just think that makes it sound very serious. And other activities.
This is serious business.
well,
okay.
The podcast, would it not be?
just so long as Lucas is getting his exercise and his daily vitamins and
Yeah.
whatever he needs.
So back to Norway, and Josh. Josh, if you haven't visited our Facebook site, it's the Roy and Matt. Is it the Roy Matt? Matt
Yeah,
Show?
it's the Roy and Matt Show.
The Roy and Matt Show. How do you even find that on Facebook?
If you go up to the top on Facebook in the search bar and you type in the Roy and Matt Show, it should be the very first thing. It won't be a person. It's a page. It's a group page. But it should come up right away. It should be the same title that you see on the YouTube channel, youtube.com/Roy and Matt, the Roy and Matt Show. And just look for the same thing. It's right there.
Perfect.
Also, if you're listening, for anybody that's listening to on iTunes or anything like that, you should see the same logo on iTunes with the podcast. So,
Right.
And look for that icon.
We put in a lot of work on that logo.
Yes.
We put no work, really. Logan just threw. Did you put any work in it? Because I don't want to discount it.
No, it wasn't super hard, but yeah, I put it together.
Excellent. Well, you know what? It's fantastic. Then
Nailed it.
I don't want.
Yeah, don't bite the hand that feeds.
No, not at all. But on the Facebook page, if you go, you'll see some of Josh's work.
Josh put up like 46 posts.
Right.
Just
No,
detailing
he was a busy man.
And it's his favorite quotes of the first 2 episodes, which is just phenomenal.
I don't even know if I had told my wife about I don't think she knew that I was doing the podcast. So I don't think I had told her how to listen to it until after she read Josh's. Maybe it was the same day. I can't remember the timeline there, but I think she saw Josh's post
Posts?
on. Yeah, she was in the other room. And I heard her laughing. I'm like, what are you laughing at? And she came out and she saw the quotes from the show. And
So that leads to a couple of things. Your wife's now listened to the show?
she is. I'm hesitant to have her listen to it only because everything I say on the show, I've probably said to her, and she laughed. She thought it was funny. She laughed at a lot of your comments and a lot of your things. And every time I talk, she'd go, "Oh yeah, I heard you say that before." And
ouch.
Yeah.
Ouch.
I don't mean that
So are you saying you want me to spend more time with your wife? What are you getting at? What is it?
I haven't thought this through. No.
No. What? That's what
I guess.
expected.
I mean, I do try out my jokes on her, and so sometimes she thinks I'm funny. Sometimes she thinks I'm irritating.
Right.
And she thought you were funny most of the time. So well played, sir.
Well, that's excellent. I've always liked your wife.
I don't blame you.
She's just fantastic. She's a good human being.
You know what? We'll come back. Can we come back? I want to talk about my wife for 1 second.
Yeah.
Can we come back to Norway?
We're jumping, and you know what? You know what I blame that we're jumping all over the place. I blame not having a turn.
Thanks a lot, Lucas.
So go ahead.
So,
Norway.
no, I thought we left. I'm leaving Norway just for a quick minute.
I think you said you wanted to get off the wives and then go to Norway.
Oh no, I want to talk about Kelly real quick.
Okay.
We play. Kelly and I started playing. We have a co-ed city soccer league we play in.
So we're just jumping into soccer now too.
Well, we don't have to talk about the soccer.
Okay, go ahead.
Well, anyway, so we were playing. It was a playoff game. We play on a team called the Kumquats.
Right.
And every time people hear that, they try to figure out a way to make that perverted. It's not.
No, it's a small little orange
Yeah,
thing.
I was in the grocery store and we were on the phone talking about starting a soccer team.
How did you pronounce it again?
Kumquat.
Okay, I've usually heard it pronounced Kumquat, which is more like
Yeah, that was
A
so
than
different.
U.
That was so way different. Do it again.
Kumquat.
And now you say it, Matt.
Kumquat.
Yeah, I'm gonna point. You can.
Okay.
I'm gonna point, and then you guys say it. Logan,
Kumquat.
Matt.
Kumquat.
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 Yeah,
Kumquat.
there's no difference.
I hear the U more in what he's saying.
Well, you know how I pronounce it? Kumquat. So, there's
are
no.
correct,
That's not perverted at all. I'm like, listen,
No.
I need some of those kumquats, and give me about a half
Sounds
dozen. of them.
racist more than anything.
Here's the thing that I hate about those things is it takes forever to peel them. And you hardly get anything out of the work that you put in. It's like, you know what? You go, I hate these things so much. I wish I had a pomegranate.
That means a lot if you wish you had a pomegranate.
Well,
instead.
they're such a pain. So, anyway.
My mom had a pomegranate tree in my yard when I was growing up, and all I knew was those were her pomegranates. And if we were to go take them and eat them, we would be. It was trouble. Those were hers, and so
she could.
they're a pain in the butt, and they stain everything.
Well, of course, yes.
Yeah,
but she couldn't get them at the store. I mean, they were like a special variety.
I don't know. As a little kid,
It doesn't matter.
We had a lot of kids in the house. I'm sure.
Does she put them on salads? What does she do? You've seen people put the pomegranate things on salads, right?
Oh yeah.
Do you ever have them? How do you eat them?
No, I just eat the seeds raw. You peel them and just eat the seeds in little bunches.
Do you eat the whole thing?
Not the rind, not the peel.
Do you
of
eat
course.
the little core, the little white core?
Yeah.
You don't.
Oh, say goodbye to your appendix someday. That's where all those things go, into your appendix.
They don't eventually work their way out of your body?
Nope, not in my medical opinion.
No.
See, I ate a bunch of them.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they go there with pennies and silly putty. That's all in your appendix until you've reached your maximum, and then your appendix, I don't know, gets irritated and they have to take it out. If you cut open 98% of the appendixes that they take out, I can guarantee you that half the content in there is pomegranate seeds, maybe an army man or like a Barbie shoe, and
Were you
what was I
told
gonna say?
when
Silly
you were
putty.
younger? Did people tell you that if you swallow gum, it takes 7 years to digest?
yeah, I could not swallow enough gum.
Yeah, I remember crushing packages of Big League Chew and just being like, I'm not going to be hungry ever.
Here's the deal with that. If you've ever seen a dog eat gum, and then what comes out of the dog after it eats gum, you're like, people have been lying to me. It probably depends on the gum, too.
That's fair. Well, I'll tell you this much.
Some gum just like turns to water, like a Razzle.
Yeah, well, Big League Chew does not stay in you for 7 years. I guarantee you that.
It's like a laxative, really.
Yeah, and I think the gum from baseball cards is just uncomfortable in all phases.
Yeah, crunchy gum. So pomegranates, how do you peel them?
I have no idea.
Do you know the secret?
I didn't know there was a secret. I've always just used a spoon and cut them open and peeled them out.
And they just go everywhere, right?
Not usually.
All
I
right, so
try to
you'd
be
say
really careful.
they do.
Okay.
So I don't know where I don't know where it came from. Maybe it was one of my dad's helpful hints out of his helpful hints book, or my wife gave me. You put it in water. You put the whole thing underwater and take all the stuff out.
Oh, really? Does it soften the?
I don't know what it does. It doesn't. Stuff doesn't squirt everywhere.
Oh.
And then you have a bunch of that whitey stuff that's floating, and you have to fish it out. And then from there, you just take handfuls of that stuff and jam it in your mouth, and you're like, vitamins, and then you spit out all those cores because you don't want your appendix to burst.
I cannot believe we're opening up with a heartfelt discussion on pomegranates.
How to eat pomegranates?
Once again, I blame it on the intern.
Thanks a lot.
So
Jake.
we're back to your. Hold on, I did not take a note, but mentally, your mom and Kelly.
Oh, look at that, producer
Logan. Yeah, but we're not
keep
talking about Norway. Yes, just
I pointed at Matt's wife.
Oh, you did. Matt's wife.
Well, it's a soccer thing. Do you want to come back to it?
No,
towards the
let's
end?
just take care of it. Kumquat.
So, we've been in the soccer league for a while. Roy, you played with us for a spell till you aged out.
You know what?
That just happened.
Here's the thing with that. I was doing very well. I was a senior member of the thing, and I scored a goal, and Matt was very happy for me. He's like, and I think I was 40 at the time, so it was like 4 years ago. And he's like, a 40-year-old man just scored that goal. And I raised my hand, and it was fabulous. And then you guys, you got like a bunch of jerks that started playing on the team. At least that's what I tell people. And then they're like, we don't want that old man anymore. And I remember one time I brought my son out, and they made me play goalie. And what they decided is, oh, yeah, we'll just have Roy play goalie, and we will not play defense at all. So my son saw me get scored on 5. I said to Paul, my son, I go, hey, yeah, that was a hard day. I got scored on 5 times. And he goes, no, Dad, it was 6. I'm like, oh, yeah, okay, that's awesome.
That's kind of rotten.
It was rotten. So, yeah, I guess I aged out.
Well, you requested to not come back.
Did I?
Yeah, you sprained your pubic synthesis.
When you play a lot of soccer, and why are we going into my injuries? So here's the thing.
This is 2 weeks in a row where HIPAA laws are just...
Here's the thing with that is I'm not even sure that that's real. I think a physical therapist told me that might be the issue, but I had a lot of pain in my area down there, like between my 2 hips and the whatever's directly between my 2 hips. Logan, hold up. Go ahead and try. Pubic symphysis?
Pubic synthesis.
Synthesis or symphysis?
Okay.
You can Google it. We don't. I
really don't. I don't want to Google that. I already Googled your seeds getting stuck in the appendix thing.
You really?
I did. And it's true.
Well, then
seeds do get stuck in your appendix.
Oh yeah, do seeds get? It's right there on the screen.
Yeah. Supposedly it's. But
uncommon. Usually they don't.
It's very uncommon, but sometimes they do.
Yeah. Well, there you go.
I was just fact checking. That's all. And trying to stay on top of things. I just didn't know what it was. Synthesis. I couldn't. Wow.
It's down there. And what happens is I was playing a ton of soccer. I was playing in like at lunchtime with a pickup game to stay healthy, and I was playing with Matt, and then we were playing futsal on Thursday nights and over at the church. Why do we even call it futsal? We were playing just murder ball, and so we were doing that, and then I just started to get incredible hip pain. I'm not hip pain, but area pain, and I could take. Remember, I was taking as much ibuprofen as I could possibly find.
Yeah.
It was insane how much I was taking. And I could play for a couple of minutes, and then it would just start to hurt, and I would have to stop. So, and is that why I quit?
Yeah. You said you...
Well, I like that story a whole lot better than you saying that I wasn't good enough anymore.
At no point did we say you weren't good enough. We just said you aged out.
All right. What's the requirement now?
Well, I'm currently, I think, the oldest player in the league at 36.
36. All right. Well, maybe I'll come back someday.
There we go.
Hold on. A follow-up to this whole story. I realized I was sleeping on my stomach, and I had one leg up, like, higher, and I think that was just ruining me. And so as soon as I started to sleep different, I was fine. So, yeah.
I'm currently experiencing that with my back, where I've been used to sleeping on one side, and now that I'm changing it, I'm starting to sleep better.
Well, you'll probably get aged out of something then, too.
Probably. Being a nerd, I hope.
But didn't you start exercising again?
Oh, my gosh. Yes.
Well, how's it go? You're the one who told...
Well, we went from Kelly to what a physical train wreck I am.
I would think if you're exercising, you're not a physical trainer. Well, you're pulling away from the train wreck, I hope.
Well, I hadn't for a while, and now, I started to exercise again. Here's the thing: after you haven't for a while, you people who constantly exercise, they'll never know, and people who are under the age of, how old are you, Logan?
22.
You have no idea what we're talking about.
Okay.
Because you're in shape.
No, I'm definitely not in shape right now. I'm actually, as hard as it can be for someone my height, I am overweight by a considerable amount that I am working on getting rid of, and I'm being somewhat successful. But I'm
congratulations.
overweight.
But when you're young, you're naturally in shape.
We bounce and we burn.
You're
more.
like a baby you can drop. And it'll bounce and it's fine.
My father actually mentioned that.
You guys are like, you 22-year-olds, you're like babies that you can drop.
Okay.
You're physically, you're okay.
Yeah, like, you could be like, oh man, I'm 10 pounds overweight. And you're like, it really upsets me. And then tomorrow you're like, oh, there you go, I lost 10 pounds.
Yeah, because you'll go, oh, I'm going to think about not eating food now. And you know what? People used to say that to us, I'm sure. And we would lose weight, and they'd get all mad, like, "Oh, you probably just think about not eating, and you lose weight." And it's true. And then you get over. How old are you now?
I'm 36. I would say I don't lose weight easy. I'm definitely chunky.
I tell you what, it gets harder because once you get to 40, your body's just like, well, you know what, you're hosed.
You made it this far.
Yeah, you're hosed.
Well, gosh, was it last? I think it was last year, or the year before. I went a year without drinking soda. I was just like, I'm going to get back in shape. I'm going to give it a shot. I'm going to get there. And so I didn't drink any soda. I started riding my bike to work, and I was exercising on a daily basis, and I did that for...
Were you blood doping? Is that how you got to work quicker?
Well, is there any other way to cycle?
If you're going to... Everyone's doing it. I mean, if you're going to get to work,
I would say it's not even cheating. If you just assume other people are doing it, you then can do it and not consider it cheating.
Here's the thing with that. I was talking to my son about that, and we will come back to this story. We're going to step away for just a moment. You're going to hear about some of the sponsors that we have, and we'll come back in just a moment.
If you're like us and enjoy reading books but just don't have time, try listening to the one through Audible. Click on any of the Audible ads at ninethrowmedia.com and start a free trial now.
All right, we're back. So we were talking about cycling and competitive cycling. And Lance Armstrong, you saw everything, right?
I didn't see the whole interview because I can't focus that long, but I watched on SportsCenter clips of it. I thought it was awesome.
What do you mean? What's awesome?
I just think there's a few things that were my favorite parts, which doesn't make any sense to have multiple favorites. But
that's fine.
When he said...
Josh had 46 favorites of the last two episodes.
But when he said, I didn't think I was cheating because everyone else was... I looked at the definition of cheating, and I didn't think I was cheating because everyone else was doing it too.
That's what he said? I didn't watch it.
Yeah, he legitimately said that, and I was just like, I'm so happy right now that you're a billionaire, a trillionaire.
He's like all those guys that are like, oh man, if I had to do it again, I wouldn't do it this way. See ya, I'm going to go to my private island now.
Yeah.
I have a question being an ignorant non-cyclist and not understanding.
Oh yeah, because look at us, we're like cyclists.
Well, you actually watched the interview. I base all the information that I get just off the little streamlines of news articles and such.
Right.
But was the stuff that he was taking something that more recently became a no-no drug? Because the definitions of what is a steroid and what is okay and what is not okay seems to change fairly regularly, and I'm basing this off of other sports like baseball and football, which I hear about this more often. Or was this something that from day one when he started doing it, he should not have been doing it?
He acknowledged that he did all of the drugs.
Really?
Yeah, all of them. Yeah, like everything you could do to cheat, he did that.
Okay.
And I think
like a real big stoner band guy, rock guy who goes, "Yeah, I've done all the drugs."
Mm-hmm.
Lance Armstrong, he's a rock star. Is what he was. He's a rock star of performance enhancers.
And was the testing not there to catch him?
Ozzy Lansford.
How did because other
Armstrong,
sports are more heavily regulated and they test for these sorts of things. How is it he was able to get away with that per se?
I don't know. I didn't see the whole interview, and I don't know if he explains it, but I like to just explain it to myself like this. He's really good at drugs.
Okay.
So that's as deep as I dove into it.
Okay.
He's really good.
Because I would have assumed
The best.
that, given
like
the
the
situation,
7-time world champion of drugs.
Yes.
I would have assumed there would be more
Performance
scrutiny
Listen,
of this whole thing.
Listen, the Chinese just started taking notes of what he was doing. The North Koreans were taking notes. Do what Lance did. That's what they decided to do. So they should be competitive in a while.
Okay.
So no, you're asking technical questions. We don't know. We don't know. We're not. Do you know? I don't know.
I'm just
How he got away with it?
No, just like all the nuances of all the different performance enhancers. I have no idea.
Because this is a big deal in the sports world for any sport, and so I'm just curious.
I guess on the in-depth level, I don't care.
Yeah.
On the surface level of we're going to make fun of it here in a second. That's probably what I care about.
Yeah.
He cheated. That's all. Here's the thing that my son and I were talking about. So what do? You go, okay, what we're going to do is we've stripped your title, and we're going to give it to the next guy, to second place guy. And the second place guy's like, well, I cheated too. And then they keep going down the line, and who they end up giving it to is like John Pierre James, and he's the guy that didn't even finish. He finished none of the stages, but he's like, yeah, I drink Gatorade. I'm like, all right, you're the tour champion.
Yeah, good on you.
And the next guy and the next guy. Out of the 7 years, probably of the title holders now, 4 of them actually finished the race.
Yeah, well, and they said on ESPN, they said he's the most tested athlete of all time.
That's what I thought. So how is it that was he paying people off?
Whatever.
I mean,
you know what happened? Barry Bonds shot grape soda through his nose at that point, but that's neither here nor there.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know anything else on Lance Armstrong. I
got nothing.
I just think it's funny. Honestly, I know that's the wrong attitude to take. To me, it's just.
I think the reason why it's such a big deal on the world level, I mean, because when you really think about it, cycling, sports in general, long term, I think we're past the age of like the super idolized sports heroes that live throughout history as being the best of a sport. Because now the sport's become so tainted with the drugs and all this controversy and stuff. It just doesn't happen the same way. And that's just my ignorant perspective of it. And the same with cycling. I think the reason it's become such a big deal is because of the massive amount of money that's involved. And when you talk about, having all these things, these awards rescinded and such, they also talk about how, he's losing all these contracts with companies that wanted him to advertise. And, a lot of them are requesting money back or demanding to get their money back, and all this other stuff.
It's not like he's like the nicest guy in the world.
Oh no,
of course
not.
mean, didn't he cheat on his wife?
Probably.
Not to base everything on it.
I think this. I don't know if he cheated on his wife, but just for fun, let's assume he did. What a jerk.
Yeah, and he probably punches cats. So.
We just attained the fiction title on this podcast.
So who cares
Creative
if it's fact
fiction.
or not? If you question the validity of anything we're talking about, look it up yourself.
Yeah.
That's all I can say. Listener, beware.
Then you care more than we do.
I don't think anybody cares enough about cycling in the United States, except for just a few people.
In other words, there's a reason why it's Tour de France and not Tour de America.
Yeah, and even the people that are in America. I mean, I don't know. Do you cycle? I mean, we probably know a handful of people that cycle, but no one cares.
Greg and Doug. And for them, it's not even like a competitive thing.
They just do it. I have a brother-in-law
They
that
just do it for
cycles
the
a lot,
spandex.
and they take it very serious. But as a sport for the masses,
Oh yeah, I mean,
and yet we're like, yeah, soccer's everything.
No, I mean, yeah, I'm not a cycling guy. I like sports, so I understand how if you're in the world of cycling,
Right.
it's probably earth-shattering. I'm not, so I
didn't mean to sidetrack so much. So what were you saying? You're saying something about Kelly.
Bring it way around. You're talking about soccer.
So we're playing this team. It's a playoff game in our little city league.
Yeah.
And this is a big deal because if you win the league, you get a discount on the following session.
See, this is what sports is. This is grassroots sports here. This is awesome.
We've been playing in this league for 6 years now.
What's the financial incentive?
It's a $200 discount.
$200. That's you split that up between the
person?
20 people on the team. That you're talking about a sizable win.
No, $200 for the team. So
okay.
I think it costs. This is your guesses because Kelly pays for it. She's the team captain. It's $600, we'll say, for the session. And,
cool.
and you split it up, and we've got 15 people on the team, I think. 15, 16. So then, yeah, but $200 matters, the discount. I mean, not to diminish the fact that we just like to win. But we're playing this team, and they're not good. And this is going to be a little soccer nuance, but what they do is they have two guys on the team who are good. And these two guys run down the middle of the field over and over again. And I play defense. And so those of us on defense, we just sit there and we wait for them, and then we take the ball. We play it out wide. And if you play wide, you stretch the field out, and it's easy to score because then you open up their defense and you can run through the holes. And so anyway, so this one guy on their team.
Were they the Italians from Kicking and Screaming?
Yes.
Were they two little Mexican twins, Jose and Joseby?
Heyo.
Oh, that one's from a dad right there.
But so at halftime, there's a guy on their team who we've been playing against him for years and years, and so we just kind of get to know them. And Kelly goes, "Did you know you guys never score goals against us?"
So she's helping him.
She
goes, "Oh, thanks, helper." What?
Yeah, she goes, "You guys never pass, and you only run up the middle. That's so easy to defend. Why don't you spread the field out and run at angles and make it hard for us?" And then in the second half, they spread the field out, and it was so much harder. Kelly she was kind of a traitor. We ended up winning. We ended up getting the win.
So did you guys kick her off your team?
No, she's team captain.
Oh, well.
She's team captain.
Mutiny.
And she's team captain, and she's really good at soccer.
So you keep her.
And we won. We won the penalty kicks. And so next week is the championship game against a team that's a lot better than us. But we're going to beat them because we always do.
Well, good luck. Well, that's going to be your adventure then this week.
Oh, yeah. Did you have any adventures?
Nope. I had no adventures.
Logan?
I did, but it's just, the normal adventures that I have every single week of maintaining our sites and puting everything
All
together.
of your adventures are tech-oriented.
Most of them right now have been tech-oriented because, as we've been putting this stuff together, there's the infrastructure that has to be in place, and so much of it has been tech-oriented.
Maybe, here's what I suggest.
You
start playing Sim City, and maybe your other guy can start have adventures while you're working.
I think that'd be awesome if you did a SimCity and you created a character who was just like yourself and had the same job and had a podcast he was trying to get going and he just...
Like Dwight Schrute.
There you go.
I nailed it. That should be a game.
I have had an adventure with my car and dealing with the transmission issues that it had and CarMax after buying it. And
good.
That was interesting.
So was it a positive result for CarMax?
It was. It was actually a very positive result.
So, that was so you have another kind of tech adventure.
I would like
when
to
you
say,
have your
I
next
think we
week's
need
adventure.
we need to redefine the term adventure.
Definitely.
Okay.
Yeah, we're not going to probably define it now. But we'll define it.
You know what we should do? We should have our listeners define adventure for us.
And if they want to tell us their adventures, they can send us an email or just post it on the Facebook page.
Well,
we don't really have an area there, but maybe under the show. This is my adventure for the week.
Well, I think right now, because we know that Josh put down about 500 Facebook posts.
Right.
And we got one email from Robin. So I think those two guys are now in the running for captain.
Do you want me to give people a space to write and to talk?
On Facebook?
Or even on your website,
yes.
royandmatt.com.
Anytime you have great ideas like that, yes.
Okay.
They're like your adventure.
Well, then audience out there, look forward to go to royandmattshow.com, and there you should find a place where you can talk about your adventures and give us ideas and give us your definition of what an adventure is.
So this wasn't are you done with Kelly?
Yeah.
Can we have family time here?
Yeah, go ahead.
So here's a couple of things, real quick. And when I say real quick, it might not be very quick at all. But my wife listened to the show, and she didn't know how to download it either. And so I showed her how to find it on iTunes, and she loaded it. And I was nervous because I don't share any of my world with like that. I just am I'm self-conscious that it's not going to be received well. But as she listened to it, she started to chuckle and laugh. And I kept going, well, what do you listen to? What part is it? I'm like, oh yeah, that's funny. Oh yeah, that's funny. Like the same experience you had. She had a number of things that she thought were fun. Oh, you know what it was? it was the advice you were going to give your daughter, the farting advice. That her graduation present would be stop farting. She thought that was awesome. In fact, I've had a couple of people tell me that was great advice.
So well, then I'm sticking to it.
No, you shouldn't. You shouldn't. And the other thing, though, she gets done with listening to the podcast, and she goes, well, first of all, there's going to be some rules. There's going to be some rules if you're going to continue to do this podcast. And to me, whatever she said afterwards, I didn't hear, because all I heard was I get to continue to do the podcast. So I think there's some rules that I'm supposed to follow.
Well, tell her the only way you can never know those rules is if she posts them on either Facebook.
Yeah,
that's probably not a good idea.
I don't know. That would be that. I don't.
We'll just edit this out.
No, we can keep it. But the other thing, she goes, well, you know what? You kind of made me sound like I approved of last week's episode. We were talking about dancing to inappropriate songs. She goes, you kind of made it sound like I approved of that activity. And in no way, just for the record, in no way did my wife approve of my daughter dancing to I'm Sexy and I Know It. By the way, she did dance on Friday night at the basketball game. She did well, and you know what's funny? They changed the song.
Did they really? What to?
To The Lion King. I can't wait to be king. So isn't that awesome? So
I'd like to think. Don't tell me anything else. I just like to think it's the power of the pod.
Yeah. It might have. It probably wasn't, but somebody said something. I mean, she came up to me at the basketball game. She goes, "Yeah, they've changed the song." I'm like. And I was happy and disappointed. Do you know what I mean? Because I kind of wanted to look at the crowd and go and just see their reaction like, oh, this is disgusting. Teenage girls have bad judgment. And which is the thing that we laughed about. And when I said that the other day, she's like, really? Teenage girls have bad judgment? She goes, that was something you felt like you needed to say. I mean, yeah. So anyway, that's the follow-up to that. And somebody had good judgment there. So,
do you know what that reminds me of? It reminds me that I'm so mad at Jake for not being here because he was supposed to watch Point Break, and I was so happy to hear his thoughts and opinions.
Well, you know what? At some point in time, he'll come back, and we'll talk about it. So, what else happened? Family-wise?
Family-wise. I don't know that I have any good family stuff this week.
I'll tell you the other thing that happened. You don't watch Modern Family.
Do
you watch Modern Family?
I do, and that show this season has just been awesome. After that first episode, which I thought was a little rough, it's just
what was the first episode?
I don't remember.
It was the one where the guy and they were talking. And it was awkward.
It was yeah. But since the first episode, I just remember going into the new season and being like, okay, so for some reason it doesn't feel like it was as strong as it was the last two seasons.
It is the best written show on television right now.
Very well written.
I can't believe you haven't watched
that.
This.
And Once Upon a Time.
No.
The latest episode that just aired on Sunday night.
You watched that when you tired of watching Twilight or what? What is that? You're like, oh man, my enchanted disc is somewhere else.
There is no way for me to save myself in this discussion, so I'm going to not say anything.
I think you should practice Rex Kwon Do right now. Break the wrist, walk away.
Oh, break the wrist, walk away. Do you know what that is? Break the wrist, walk away. Rex Kwon Do. Anyone? How about that? Anyone?
Ferris Bueller's Day Off.
Ferris Bueller's Day Off. Break the wrist and walk away. What is it?
Can I guess this, even though I made the joke?
Matt, go ahead. But see if you can buzz in. I will tell you if you referenced it correctly.
Napoleon Dynamite.
Napoleon Dynamite. I bet I could throw this football over those mountains.
You know what I want to do real quick? I went and saw a movie this week. I saw The Hobbit. I really wanted to see The Hobbit, and this is why I'm going to bring it up, because it is a family thing. Kelly was really tired. She's been sick, and we were sitting there on the couch, and she was starting to fall asleep. And I'm like, babe, are you tired? She's like, yeah. I was just like, well, if you're about to fall asleep, can I go see The Hobbit?
Is that the conversation you had?
Well, sometimes we like to, like, it's nice. It's nice to get the kids to bed and hang out and chat, and
Kelly, can I be Big Spoon? Oh, you're tired. Okay.
So anyway, it was funny because she felt awkward that I was going to a movie by myself.
Never.
She's just like,
that's the best.
She's like, you're married. You should be able to go with me. You shouldn't have to go to movies by yourself. I'm like, babe, I'm totally fine seeing a movie by myself.
Right.
So I went and saw The Hobbit. It was me and 3 other people who came together.
What do you mean?
There was a group of 3 people who sat right.
That
over
was
there.
it? That's the only people in the theater?
That's why I wanted to see it before it went out of the movie theater.
That was the only people were you and 3 other people?
Mm-hmm.
That's so sad. I like the movie.
I did too. I had a free pass too. That made it even better.
Okay.
There's a million different views on the Hobbit. The Ninth Row Media, you guys broke down the Hobbit a while back.
Mm-hmm. We did.
I can't even remember what you guys said. I just know you talked about like the camera quality and all these things. Like everyone else, I've read the book when I was younger, like 100 years ago. I don't know why this stuck with me in the movie. Why were the mountains fighting? I cannot remember for the life of me. Why are those mountains so angry at each other?
That's how they make thunder in the Middle Earth.
Are you joking?
I have no idea.
I just when the movie,
in Rumpelstiltskin, don't that when they bowl, isn't that the thunder? Right?
Yeah.
So when mountains fight, that's thunder.
Oh.
In Middle Earth.
I just remember watching that part,
or when there's actual lightning.
I remember the book not super well, but watching it. But I remember the dragon. I remember all the dwarves.
They haven't even come to that part though. It's like 3 movies away before they even get to that.
They allude to it,
right?
But
hold on, Logan. Do you know what it is? You looking it up?
Why the mountains are fighting?
Yeah, why are they so mad?
Sure, I'll look it up.
Because they're probably crusty. They're just angry. I mean, if you're a mountain, you're like, you know what? What are we going to do today? I don't know. Let's fight.
I guess
I would just like they're recording a pay-per-view MMA or mixed martial arts episode or something.
Okay.
Not your best work. Kim Jong-jake is still your best work.
It is, and people have referenced that. So,
have they referenced it?
Here, you brought up a point. If the mountains are fighting all the time and they're just throwing stuff around, if that's been happening for a long time, why isn't it just one big desert?
Yeah, they're just hills now.
They're just hills. Yeah. So what else about the movie? Here, I think I told you this. I even put it on Facebook. After I came out of that movie, I sang the dwarf song Forever to everything. Can you pull that up?
Oh, sure I can.
Pull it up. Pull it up. Just pull it. Did you see the dwarf thing?
Well, yeah, I watched the movie.
Yeah, I know you didn't see the movie. You saw Lord of the Rings though, right?
Yeah.
Here we are totally talking about this. Those guys do a great review, and we're butchering this, which is fine. Lord of the Rings. I'm sure there was a lot of CGI monsters. The trees, for one. I can't imagine those guys in suits.
Yes.
But the orcs were the orcs weren't. Maybe the ones that were running. All the orcs were.
From what I understand, yeah.
Bull, not the when they were, not when Frodo was fighting in the woods in the first one. Was it Boromir?
Sorry, you're talking Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I thought you were still talking Hobbit.
No.
Yes, you were correct. Some of them were people in suits.
That was good.
Yes.
Why did they shy away from that? Why did they shy away from that?
Ooh,
hey-o. Money?
Cost, yeah.
It costs. You can. It costs more to like put somebody in a rubber suit?
Absolutely. Versus the CGI, yeah, it is a
Why
huge
did
thing.
I think that it cost a lot of money to do CGI? I guess it doesn't. I guess it's just.
Well, it used to. I mean, it was a legitimate concern. Even within 5 years ago, it was more expensive. But now we've gotten to a point where CGI is just so much cheaper because you can recreate as many people as you want, literally by a couple clicks of a button.
Some of those fighting things in the mountain where they're running in the thing. That was I didn't like that. But I'll tell you the thing that I hate. Think about the thing What am I thinking of? What am I thinking of? The CGI character I hated the most. What am I thinking of in The Hobbit?
I really hope it's not Gollum.
No, he was fine.
And they nailed that.
He's
you know
a
who it
bad
is?
guy.
It was
He's a bad guy.
It was the king, the dude with the gobbler under his
the
chin.
Goblin King?
All right. He's my second. He was pretty bad, but I hated him because he's CGI.
I loved his line when Gandalf kills him.
Yeah, is that the best you could do or something
Yeah,
like that?
is that the best you could do? And then
apparently, yeah.
Yeah, he's like,
I mean,
that'll do. He's like, that'll do.
Yeah. All right. I can't believe you're not guessing. Just guess a little bit.
Are you talking about the giant orc guy, the white
yes,
albino?
the white albino orc.
They call
what
him
a piece of garbage that thing was.
Yeah.
I mean, he had the thing jammed through his arm. How much? The Urukai, is that the name of the thing?
Urukai?
The Urukai? Was he
No.
an Urukai?
No, Urukai are
Look at, I know there's like 5 nerds out there just like snapping their pencils and going, I hear this
probably
guy.
not that listen to this show.
Whatever. They probably
Whoa,
do.
whoa, shots fired.
Come on.
You're not particularly a nerd audience or nerd.
We're a
show.
nerd appealing.
We are.
Soccer nerd.
No.
Roy just said the word Urukai
Urukai.
with no promptings.
Yeah. Ents, Urukai.
I never said that you weren't nerds. I just said that you didn't attract the nerd audience.
So, but that Urukai thing that who's the king? Ymir. Who's the king? The king. The guy played.
Saruman.
No, the king. The
Sorin.
good guy. The good guy. The good king. He becomes the king.
Saffron.
King of the dwarves, or
No,
is it
humans.
group?
The human king.
Striker, Rider.
Strider. Who's Strider? What's his name?
Aragorn.
Aragorn.
Remember when Aragorn cuts the Urukai's head off or whatever he does there? That was such a better thing than that piece of garbage in The Hobbit.
I
went a long way to get to that.
Yeah, I feel like we need to do better show prep because we're struggling finding it.
We're doing fine. So can you play the dwarf thing? This is your movie and I'm reviewing it. I'm sorry.
No,
I've seen it too.
You're nailing it. Prove it.
I'm so worried. Yeah. Play it. I can't sing it. Far over the misty mountain. You guys can join in. It's a dwarf thing.
How do you know the words?
Because I sang it a million times. There's like a couple versions. And caverns see, and if you look this up, I'll go nerd on you guys. If you look this up, that line doesn't come till a little bit later on in the song. Am I right?
You are correct.
Well, see.
Well,
So I have this in my head. We're roaring upon the. I always get the tune wrong too. I don't really care. It's so ominous sounding, though, right?
I'm just so happy that you know all the words to this.
Oh, when I watched it on YouTube because I got the lyric version. You can lyric version anything.
Yep, it's out there.
And then it kicks into the other part. Anyway, I'm done with that movie. I was singing that tune to like I'm making cookies. I'm making cookies. Who wants some milk? You know, anything. And my wife's just like, I hate you right now.
I remember when you talked about that on Facebook.
4 more examples of things you sing about.
Well, you know what? I'll give 4 more if you give me 1.
I never sang.
You should. It's liberating. Try it.
Okay, we'll call it a draw.
We'll hum it. We'll hum the tune as a background.
Nope.
Why get self-conscious now? This whole podcast is about just like opening up our soul for the most part.
I feel like this is like a challenge on a rap battle or something like that.
A rap battle?
Yeah.
Walk off. The funnest thing, hey, let me tell you this right now. We're on vacation. We're with my kids a number of years ago. The funnest thing that we could do, no matter where we were, I would constantly go, guys, walk off. And we would do, isn't the walk off the modeling thing from Zoolander?
Zoolander, yeah.
So no matter where we were, whether it was a state park or wherever, we would do a walk off right there.
Who
boom,
won?
boom, boom.
Who won?
No one wins in a walk-off. It's humiliating for everybody.
So I have a challenge here's your adventure for you, Roy. I've got the music only, the instrumental only of the song. Do you want to try and just throw one out here?
When I said that, you know, open your soul, I didn't mean like today.
Oh.
And I certainly wasn't referencing myself.
Do you know what I want to talk about? As I'm just going to change gears altogether. I'm calling it quits on The Hobbit.
Do you have anything else to say about The Hobbit? Are you going to watch the second one?
Yeah,
I usually watch it the first day because I don't want anybody to ruin The Hobbit or any of those things for me. I'm never a premiere guy. The only movies I've seen premiere, you go all the time. You go midnight with your friends all the time.
Well,
you never invite me on any of those, and I totally feel slighted.
I don't know if it's really worth it.
You know what I did? I aged out.
He did. In fact, I aged out. As soon as I had kids, I gave
You
up on.
aged out,
I
that's
aged
right.
out. Once you have kids, you're like, midnight shows are stupid.
Yeah.
Well, a lot of the time, aren't they dumb anyway? I mean, you fall asleep halfway through the movie. It's
Oh,
1 o'clock, 1:30 in the morning.
You would assume so, but I will say this: I went and saw the third Star Wars at the midnight show, and Luke Skywalker.
Was Triumph there?
Luke Skywalker and Princess Leia had a lightsaber battle
There?
before the movie started. We were sitting in the movie theater and we were like at 2 hours to kill, and these two people dressed in costume got up in front and had a full lightsaber battle,
Like
and
choreographed, like they'd done it
yes,
before?
it was, I think so. And Princess Leia crushed Luke in this battle.
Wow.
It was
Luke clearly hadn't watched the
it
Star
was
Wars
awesome. And
kid.
then I went
Right.
and saw Transformers on the midnight show.
The first one?
Yeah, and people
Would you watch the fourth one?
No, I've had a kid. I can't. I've aged
I'm
out.
just saying, the third one was so bad. I'm a Transformers fan. Anytime you have robots that turn into, dang it, I ruined that. Anytime you have cars that turn into robots and fight, that's good. You're going to watch that movie unless it's the third Transformers, and that blew.
It's true. You know, it was a hard movie to
It's true.
see.
Okay. Yeah.
It's true.
Yeah,
No,
it is
it's true. I can't add
You know
it.
what's
You've
funny?
explained it out.
Is I was unsure if you were telling
were
the
on
truth or not, and
right.
then producer Logan came through and
Boom.
verified.
True.
Sorry,
Thank
I
you.
couldn't agree in a more specific way. A hard movie to see in a midnight showing, though, was the final Dark Knight movie. Because that was long, and there was that large period of the movie where just nothing was really happening. So it was a very slow build, and right around 1:30, I think the audience woke up when things started to pick
All right.
up.
Hey, I know this is a kind of a theme. I'm thinking of the worst midnight showing movie ever. Well, what is it?
My first guess is Amadeus.
Amadeus. No, but like a slow, put you to sleep movie.
Space Odyssey.
Amadeus would probably work. Space Odyssey, Polar Express. I can't even, I've never watched the whole movie, to be honest. I've seen it a couple. My kids have seen it. I haven't seen
You've
it.
seen it in bits and pieces.
Bits and pieces. It would be the best $8 nap I've ever had.
Well, let's do this. Let's start winding down. I just want to talk about a few things to throw out to our two loyal
Right.
listeners. Our segments. We talked about some different segments we want to do.
Right.
We had lunch. We talked about the show a little bit.
Yeah, we got together for some show prep. We probably, a lot of good that did us, right?
Yeah, clearly it didn't. But did you have the email we got from?
Do you have it?
Well, I can't remember what he
Paraphrase
said.
it.
But didn't he say something about he was a big fan of
Taglines.
So we got to stick with that. But you and I talked about some other segments we want to talk.
Oh,
possibly do.
like when we're working out comedy jokes?
Yeah. So for our listeners, golly, was that 3-4 years ago now?
Yeah. What are we talking about?
When we tried our hand at comedy.
We did stand-up comedy 3 years ago, and we did it at an open mic night, and then we followed it up by... We actually crushed that night. And anybody who was there, if you look it up on... Do we have that posted anywhere?
I guess we could probably post it on our YouTube page.
You know what, Logan, can you help us? If we find our video, can you post that on our page?
Of course.
Our stand-up night?
Yeah.
Well, here's what happened, though. I don't want you to gloss over this. Is
What?
we had a dare between, it was you, me, Andy, Sam, Josh.
I think that's it.
Yeah, so the six of us to go on a specific night and try our just 5 minutes of stand-up comedy
Right.
as a dare to see if we could do it. And everybody flaked out
Except for us.
except for us. And we locked ourselves in my office for lunch and we wrote bad jokes
Yep.
the whole time.
And then I bought us books that we carried around,
yeah, and we
like little notebooks that we carried around our back pockets. Do you still have yours?
I could find it. It's got to be in a drawer
It's
somewhere.
like in an archive.
Yeah. But what we would do,
Logan,
is
because you're fascinated by the story, we can tell.
Logan is.
I'm fascinated by what you're saying.
Yeah, I know. So
The thing is, we wrote jokes. We'd have like joke lunches where we'd go have lunch just to write jokes to become stand-up comedians. We had this dream for, I would say, 2 months.
years.
Yeah. Well, we'd go back and when you revisit a joke you wrote,
Oh, like a year ago.
more often than not, you find out it was
It
terrible.
was horrible. It was horrible. I've got stuff that I've written in a journal from a long time ago that I thought was funny, and I look at it now, and I'm just like, you are you wreck yourself. You should have no pride whatsoever.
So anyways, we want to have a segment. Well, we don't know how it'll work, so we need some buy-in from listeners because we want to be able to
Well, if you have a joke or something,
you want a joke, and we can try to work through it and see a concept to see if it's funny.
Maybe we'll do a little workshop here.
Yeah, we want to workshop stand-up jokes that we're never going to use.
No, it's like a lot of our ideas. We're like, yeah, that's a good idea. That'll never happen.
Yeah, so that's a segment we want to kind of look into, occasionally touching on jokes. I don't know how it'll work.
Yeah, you're right, but this has worked out so far. So
yeah, there are some ideas. And here's another segment. And I think we should do this one actually. I think this is very possible. This is kind of two different. I listen to a lot of podcasts when I'm in the car and stuff. And Bill Simmons, he has the BS Report. It's a podcast on ESPN. It's awesome. Bill Simmons is a great sports writer, but he makes so many references to the TV show The Wire.
Yeah, I don't know what that is.
Yeah, well, because of Bill Simmons, eventually I'm like, I got to listen to this, and so I watch this.
Logan, are you familiar with this?
Sort only by name.
Right.
Well, I rented it and watched the series. It's 5 seasons, and it's fantastic. And then
what's it about?
About Baltimore. About
well, so far I'm just riveted. I can't wait to get it.
Well, and my description is done. So enjoy.
Like anything Baltimore, that's what I want more in my life.
It's about the drug dealers and then cops and
anything about drugs and cities I don't live in. Yeah. I'm in.
It was great. It really was great.
So what does he reference? He's like Lance Armstrong got his drugs from Baltimore.
It doesn't matter. Just different characters from it. He would make jokes about him, right, and stuff like that. So I finally watched it because of Bill Simmons always talking about it and referencing it, and I loved it. And then there's another podcast I read.
I'm curious what this segment's going to be. Well, there's a lot of play.
It's
here.
very simple. I'm just giving credit to the people whom I'm going to steal from.
So okay. So we're just going to start referencing shows.
Well, I would never reference a show.
No. What I don't understand what the reference to Wired is. I just need to be patient.
Yeah, it's The Wire. And anyways, and there's another one. It's called Script Notes, and these guys who write movies, and they just talk about writing movies, and I find it fascinating. But at the end of every one of their shows, they do one cool thing, and they talk about something cool that they found. So I thought it'd be a cool podcast somewhere in our podcast to talk about something we love.
So do we
want to share with our listeners, or if our listeners want to email or get to us, we could talk about the thing they let us know.
Okay, so here's the thing. I'm going to think of something, and why don't we wrap up this episode, and in our next episode that we're going to, and this episode went a little bit longer, so the next episode we're going to do right on the heels of this one is going to be very short. So
30 minutes.
30, if that.
29.
29, 28 maybe. So did we miss anything?
Nope, I've kept track.
Okay.
You've looped around to everything.
I think we covered family, we covered everything. Stay tuned for the next episode, which is we're gonna follow up with some of our ideas that we just talked about. And
it'll come out in a couple of days.
Do you have anything that you want to add? Anything else, Matt?
No, so I'm solid.
All right.
Good.
Do you want to tell the listeners when it's going to come out? Because this show usually airs on Thursday morning.
Here's how this works, Logan. We have no idea.
Okay.
You haven't given us we are just horses in a stable.
Well,
and you're the jockey
for the
riding
audience.
us.
For the audience, then, it'll come out on Friday. We'll release this episode on Thursday. So if you're listening to this now, check back tomorrow at all the normal places for the next episode.
All right. Well, thanks. My name's Roy.
I'm Matt.
And we'll see you next time. And from our producer, Logan, you're going to say goodbye and wrap it up.
I'm going to say goodbye. Thank you, everybody. This has been the Roy and Matt Show by Ninth Row Media. Make sure to check them out at royandmattshow.com and also youtube.com/The Roy and Matt Show.